I was out here just sort of straightening things out after our last trip to Mount Washington and the White Mountains National Forest. Maybe you saw it. It was the last video. If not, check it out. And I mentioned in that video that I was going to be making a video having to do with names. And in this case, it's camper names. So I guess you might say, you know, what's in a name, a camper name? Now, the name of our camper is the Windrose II. And the reason it's called the Windrose II is because there was a Windrose I, which was a little guy teardrop camper that I also renovated like this one. Actually kind of restored it. I bought it used. But I'll come back to this name later. I've got some camper names that I've collected over the years, you know, I haven't taken pictures of them or anything, but when I could remember, I'd write them down, and I think there's probably more that I've forgotten than I've actually written down. And I find that people name their campers with rhyme and reason, and sometimes without any. I'm not exactly sure what some of them are. Now, I know I'm going to be offending someone here because I may be mentioning a camper name that you have, because some of them are darn funny. But now there are a lot of different camper names, and you know, can't do them all. But you know, the ones that I found either interesting or just strange, I've kind of put in categories. And one of the categories, what I call kind of standard camper names. You see them around. Some like this. These are all nice, nothing spectacular, just names that some people thought of that were pleasant. May not say anything in particular of consequence, but you know, nothing bad about them. They're pretty nice. There are some camper names that are just kind of clever. They have some meaning to them, and they're just kind of interesting, even though sometimes they don't sound like camper names. They're just interesting names. Take a look at these. The aluminum falcon in relation to the Millennium Falcon of Star Wars. Not sure what this means, but it is kind of cool, driving and vibing. This was on the back of my little guy camper. I go where I'm towed to. Sort of a cute little saying. If you're a Trekkie, you'll know what this one is. It's the name of the Enterprise, the serial number. And these people were just getting very clever with the name thing. I think it needs a question mark, though. Another whole category is what I call geriatric, or what my kids would call dad names. They're kind of what some people think are clever, but are actually just and I think that sometimes older people, or what they call, you've heard of dad jokes, where you know, they're just kind of like dumb jokes. Well, the camper names can sound that way to some other people, particularly younger ones. I have no idea what they think this is. Maybe they think of their camper more as a coffin. And this one means I'm still here being dangerous behind the wheel. Translation, we're just old and we're proud of it. I know we're driving slow. Give us a break. The connection is, hills are on a road and we're old. Okay, don't need to say much about this one. Oh great, we get to inherit an old geezer camper. There are some campers that are named after songs, and of course some songs are beautiful and they have beautiful titles. And I come across a few. I'm sure there are a lot more out there, but these are just some of them that I've seen. You'll see a few Disney titles out there. A song from AC/DC, one of my favorite groups, and Highway to Hell. I don't know exactly where these people think they're going with their camper though. Patriotic, I suppose these people are out to see the United States. I had to look this one up. The Power of Orange Knickers. I think they're naming it after that. This one is kind of cool. A song from the Doors, and it seems to fit right on the back of this camper with some meaning to it. And this one is appealing too, Simply Irresistible by Robert Palmer. It kind of goes along with the traveling thing, I think. Some campers are named after people. I don't know why people do this unless it's the names of the people who own the camper. And I'm not sure when I see the name of a person on a camper, if it's an actual person in there or if they named it for some other specific reason. Maybe the person's name is someone famous or noteworthy and I'm just not aware of it. Here's some of them. You've just got to assume Bob's in there someplace. I mean, what else could it be? Does this one belong in song titles, or are there just two cool people in there named after a song? You've just got to assume that Gwen likes to go. Okay, so Ronald turned his name into a dorky dad camper name. Right. Hello, Milton. There is a category of camper names out there that, in my mind anyway, are just dorky. You look at them and you go, huh? What the heck was that all about? And they probably have some reason for it, but they may be the only ones who know what the reason is. And yet they travel around with this name of this camper on the tailgate or on the side of their vehicle. Red Cross or vampires, either way, they'd like blood. Stuck in the 60s, the kids won't even have a clue. So they found two words that rhymed and said, oh, that's good. Yeah, sort of like a bounce house, right? Gee, Gerald, I saw a really nice Spanish word, hacienda. It probably took a week to think of that one. Yep, another heavy hitter. Just so many deep thinkers. Yeah, and I remember the camper wasn't pink, so, go figure. Nope, I am not even gonna go there. Some people are just literal. Okay, they either spent too much time at the bingo parlor or they actually won it there. There are some camper names that are just very unusual and sometimes inappropriate. And when you come across them, sometimes, I consider them very interesting or funny or just like strange. But there are some of the more unique camper names out there. I'm sure you've seen some like it before. Translation, you're too close. I got nothing. Doobie doobie, sort of like twiddling your thumbs, right? No, it wasn't a FEMA trailer. It was a name of a camper. Oh man, you could read so much into this one. Could be the camper or the person driving it. The most overused saying in RVing, right? Clever at one time. Is there a therapist in the house? Oh dear, a new take on If It's a Rockin'.
Won't work.
They might actually have petroleum, or it could be a new take on Blazing Saddles. And then there are some camper names that are just sort of mysterious. They sound good. Sometimes you know what they mean, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they have to do with a hobby or a personal interest or something else that the public is generally aware of. And they can be pretty cool. Mysterious names. Here's some. This would be so cool if her name really was Jane Bond. Simple, elegant, but what does it mean? Nonsensical play on words. But he died. What does he know that we don't? Good, solid vagabond words. He's either telling us he finally took on the vagabond life, or he has the smoking gun. His last name either begins with a T, or he has a mohawk. Follow this camper long enough and get in touch with your inner child. Ooh, mysterious. Very Clint Eastwood movie-like. He could be a bean counter. Then again, it's also a term for an assassin. Fear is the mind killer, from the book series Dune by Frank Herbert. Following this guy for 80 miles could really mess with your mind. Is this just another name for whiskey? Is this guy driving? So, what about the Windrose II? What is a Windrose? Well, you've all heard of a compass rose, and this is a compass rose, north, south, east, and west, and a few areas in between. And the reason that I've named this Windrose, but I've put up a compass rose, is because I couldn't find a company that made a Windrose decal for a camper. And Windrose is done for a very specific reason in our mind that probably no one would know, but we do. So we're one of those names, I don't know what category they would fit in. Maybe mysterious, I'm not sure. That is pretty much known to us, unless someone would specifically look it up. And the reason that we've chosen this name. Navigating the seas is a dangerous business, and none so much as in ancient times when they were trying to get from one place to another with little help. There was a time when the Earth's magnetic field was an unknown, and therefore the magnetic compass hadn't been invented yet, at least not in the Western world. When sailors ventured far enough out to be away from the shore and being able to get their bearings, they devised a complex way of navigating using the winds that they knew at the time. And they devised elaborate nautical charts using those wind directions and wind strengths, hoping to use them to navigate the oceans. So here we are back again to Windrose. A compass rose will take you wherever you want to go. It's pretty accurate, north, south, east to west. Use a magnetic compass to get there. But before then, they had, like I said before, just the wind to go by. And the wind isn't always reliable, and it doesn't always blow to or from the same direction. So they would use that as a guide in ancient times, and often end up way off course or in places they didn't expect. And there were some amazing discoveries that were done that way by accident. We've been camping since 2000, and well, we've been camping for a long time, but we've been traveling with a Windrose 1 or 2 trailer since 2010. We've put, 26,000 miles on this trailer, because the Ford that we have now keeps track of the mileage on this specific trailer. And we've done at least that or more on the other camper that we had. So 50, 60,000 miles or more over the last, 11 years. We've been to all 48 lower states, toured a lot of them extensively. And what we usually do is we have a general plan, but sometimes we'll head out maybe 500 or 1,000 miles in one direction. And then when we get out there and we say, we going to turn around? Often or not, Joyce will say, "No, let's go." And I'll say, "Well, what direction?" She'll say, "I don't know, that way." And we go. So we don't rely on the wind telling us what to go, but we're kind of like in the wind as far as traveling sometimes. And it can be really cool. I hope some of you get the opportunity to do that. Hence, we have a smaller camper that is minimalist, easy to pack up and just go. It's not much different than just traveling with your car. And it's a fun way to travel, seeing it from the ground and seeing it for weeks or sometimes months at a time. So, I hope you have enjoyed this little sojourn through camper names. I've been meaning to put something together like this for a very long time, as I've had these names on scraps of paper in the drawer. And if you ever want to use this name, Windrose, it would be flattering. And now you know the reason that we use our name. There's a rhyme and reason to it, even though it's not obvious unless you look it up or can guess it.